Hey guys, Jordan here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the A7IV and video, so let's get into it. Alright, so if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing if you're into real estate photography, because that is what I talk about. So in this video, I respond to Danny's journey. He commented on a video that I made, the only way to succeed in real estate photography business in 2022. If you're interested in seeing that, the link will be in the description below. But he asked, what do you think about the new Sony A7IV for video real estate with 4K 60? And honestly, the A7IV with 4K 60 is crop mode, so you typically aren't going to be using that unless you have like an APS-C size censored wide angle lens. But in my opinion, 4K 60 really isn't that important. 4K 30 you can get away with, and depending on the resolution and what your customers expect, 4K isn't necessarily even the standard in real estate photography. Even when you do it, you upload it, things get compressed. A lot of times we're shooting 1080p 60, and I do like 60 frames per second. I just feel like, I don't know why they created the APS-C mode only for 4K 60. Maybe to separate it a little bit more from the A7S3 or something like that. I have all these cameras, and I've used them. Actually, the A7S3 does 4K 120. But anyways, I like 60 because a lot of times if you're speeding up, or if you're going fast in a property, it's easier to slow down the footage. Shooting 60 frames per second, though if you're moving too fast, it's best to shoot 60 frames per second, given if your camera can handle low light well. So obviously with the newer Sony cameras, they do very well. Even if you're pushing ISO a little bit, it's usually not too grainy of footage unless you're getting into super high ISO ranges. But yeah, 4K 60 not very usable in my opinion for the A7IV. Maybe they release a firmware where it'll give you a full sensor use of 4K 60. They are rolling out some different features. So anyways, if I had to choose before 4K 30, if 4K 60 is not an option, if you had to choose between 4K 30 and 1080p 60 frames per second, I'd probably go 1080 60. Just because I cannot remember the last time we had a request where they're like, hey, can you do a 4K video? Or when we sent over a 1080p video and they're like, hey, can you make it 4K? That's really not an issue today. So, even I have an A1, it shoots 8K 30 or whatever, but that is just way, think about your workflow process. When you have less pixels, less cameras, file sizes, it's just gonna run a lot more efficient on the editing side of things. And what is the goal for your customers? What are they gonna use at the end of the day? If you're using like a lower resolution like 1080p versus 4K, and you're getting things done a lot faster and really checking the boxes of what your customer actually values, I think that's more important than if you're shooting 4K 60, 4K 120, or 8K or whatever that is. I think there's a lot of things more important than resolutions, like the composition, the story you're trying to tell about a property, the flow of it, is it engaging? There's a lot more variables important than resolution, in my opinion. So anyways, that's it. If you got value, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you're into real estate photography, and we'll see you guys on the next one.